Hey there folks, Chuck here. What you're going to see today is a bit of a compilation of our first couple streams from Diecast Supercon in Las Vegas from a few weeks ago. You're going to see us recapping the show and talking about our experiences there, and we're going to talk to Hayden from HHW Customs, a friend of the show. He's been on the show before. He's a Las Vegas local and does a lot of really awesome stuff in the community with some original 3D printed parts, original designed decals, and he's a great reseller of real rider style wheels. So definitely somebody who's worth checking out. But we just wanted to share these again in case you missed the live stream and have them up on the audio feed of the podcast as well. If you've seen this already, I apologize, but frankly not many of you have seen it. So we're going to put it up again and make sure more people see what an incredible event this was and what an incredible honor it was to be at this event and some of the cool people that we met along the way. Before I forget, I want to remind you to subscribe and stick around because we're going to have some really great guests coming up, including Boy Racer Ben. You might have heard of him from the TikToks and the YouTubes. And comedian Jerry Ween Longmire is going to be joining us. He's that really cool Texas comedian that roasts all of the pickup trucks. You've probably seen his reels as well, or his TikToks. Really cool people, really great car people, and we're going to have a lot of fun with those two guests. So be sure to stick around for that. And as always, we want to thank you for coming along with us for the ride. So, here's the show in 3, 2...
You're watching Diecast Breakdown with Chuck Ellis, David Johns, and Mark McHotwheel. So sit back, strap in, and hang on. The breakdown starts now.
Hey folks, Chuck here, and welcome to a special live edition of Diecast Breakdown, where we're not where we usually are. These guys exist in 3 dimensions. Who knew? And so we are live here from Diecast Supercon, checking out the scenery. It is an amazing event. We're on day 1 and already blown away by what we've seen. But I'm not going to talk about it alone. I am joined, as I often am, by my 2 co-hosts, Mr. David Johns of Twice Diecast. How you doing, David?
How do you think I'm doing, Chuck? Because I'm doing awesome.
You're doing fantastic. And Mr. Mark Berenson of dreamandreams.org. Mark, how you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm with a great company. It's nice to finally meet Chuck in person.
We exist in physical space, guys. We could
only
reach out and touch somebody
on the edit. Now we're in person, so it's a great place to meet. Diecast Supercon.
Yeah. So 3 different time zones finally together in Mark's time zone. So Mark's feeling great.
Yep.
We're still figuring out where the heck we are. But we're glad that you're here with us and everybody who's joining us. Of course, a special shout out to our executive producer level patrons that help make the show go. There's no graphics here, and I don't have my list in front of me, but you know who they are. There's some awesome people. I want to give a special shout out to Elevation Diecast Racing, who's our newest executive producer level sponsor. I know that much.
Thank you, Elevation.
So if you want to know how you can join their ranks, you can visit diecastbreakdown.com, where you can find our merch, you can find our social media, and a whole lot more, including a link to our Patreon, or you can click the little join button down below. And while you're down there looking at stuff, make sure you're hitting the subscribe, the like, all that good stuff. And if you think what we're doing is pretty cool, share it with a friend. That's a great way to help the show grow. It doesn't cost you anything. You can always, if you're listening to us on the audio feed, rate us 5 stars on your favorite podcasting app. But today is, like I said, a little bit different. And we're feeling a little different. It's a very different vibe to the show. And we are thrilled to be here representing as the official influencers. Can you believe it? Big shout out to Steve and CJ and the rest of the crew at Diecast Supercon for making this go, getting us here, and the amazing Ahern Hotel and Convention Center who is hosting this event. Shout out to the sponsors, Jada, CarTuned, IXO America, Diamond Protectors. There's a whole bunch of other ones. I'm sorry. We should really prepare more for this, guys.
Oh,
hey,
we're live. This is how you know we're live.
It's going to be fun. So, yeah. But yeah, David.
All right. Yeah.
Talk
Yes,
to
Chuck.
me. You've been here before. Tell me about your first time at Diecast Supercon and how it's changed from there to here.
Okay. So the show is 100% as expected, bigger than it was in the past, bigger than it's ever been. Mark will tell you that as well. We were here just 2 years ago, and it seems to be a whole different level, Mark, than what it was in 23. And it was awesome in 23.
It's definitely grown a lot. The vendors have stepped their game up, I think, and just
That's
the
it.
companies, CarTuned here, incredible. We'll show their setup. It's incredible over there. Lewis over there, and we're just excited because you meet new people every year. You meet the faces behind the cars, the manufacturers, and all these guys are super nice guys and gals. And if you go talk to them, they'll talk to you about cars all day long. But you're probably going to find some awesome cars you've never seen before, the ones you're chasing after that aren't on eBay or wherever you're looking. You'll find them with all these awesome vendors here. And there's CarTuned's got a slot machine over to play and win some cool prizes.
All right.
Away a lot of cool things.
I have that
So-
slot machine. I was just over there looking at their booth, and they've got some incredible designs lined up. So make sure you
Yeah.
stick around because we're going to be sharing those on our YouTube Shorts, on our Instagrams.
Check out our shorts.
Yeah, check out our shorts.
Yeah, make sure you're on Instagram.
Don't worry, they're clean.
We're posting stuff on Instagram.
Shorts are always clean with these three.
Keep it family friendly here. That's what we do. And it's really awesome. IXO America's here. They've got some really awesome Dodge Challengers that they're showing as their first initial casting release. People have been picking that up as they can, and that's been really awesome. See what else? Oh, Jada has some really cool stuff. They just did their official unveiling of the new majorette line. That's True 164, which makes me happy.
Yeah,
They
we're
have
really
lensed
excited.
or jeweled headlamps. That makes David happy. And
100%.
they just make work happy in general.
David got me hooked on majorettes years ago. I think your first one that you sent was an R35.
Yeah.
And then I have, ever since then, I started picking those up, and then they're just really nicely done cars. And to pair with Jada is an incredible thing because it just, the two huge forces coming together just make a great, awesome car.
Yeah, and it's a really cool theme too. They've got this thing where they're going by decade, by year. So wave one is going to be 1955, 1965, 1975, 85, etc., up to 2005. So if you're looking for a 2015 Toyota Sienna, you're going to have to wait on that one. Sorry. Yeah, we got a 55 Chevy Bel Air coming out, 65 Ford Mustang GT350.
Yep.
Beautiful. It's in the white and blue livery. And there's also, I saw like a Hertz style black and gold livery. See, 75 is a Porsche 930, I believe.
Yep.
And then we got 85 for the iconic or
IROC.
the 80s, the IROC Z. We got 95 is the Honda NSX. And 2005 is the Bugatti Veyron. I did that all from memory.
And
That's how awesome
That's
that.
impressive.
Chuck, we did post a short this morning. You're going to get some really clean,
Clean
just
shorts.
absolutely good looks at all 6 of those cars. Go look in the Diecast Media Network on our shorts. You'll find it. Just put it there this morning. Can't get any fresher than that, guys.
No,
It's true.
Nothing
Hot
better than
off
fresh
the
shorts.
presses.
Chuck
right.
could not say the same when he flew in.
I did have a mishap with my luggage. By the way, don't travel with liquids in your checked bags.
Protein shakes, to be exact.
Like
Don't
Chuck-tastrophe, if you will.
Chuck
Yes.
catastrophe.
Fortunately, I'm no stranger to doing my laundry in a sink, so we're
Yeah.
back in business.
Not going on TMI. This is a
This has been
TMI diecast.
TMI talk with Chuck, David, and Mark. So, Mark, you're not alone on this trip. You're traveling with some very special guests.
Yep. I'm traveling with my beautiful wife, Kimber, and my soon-to-be 1-year-old on Sunday, my daughter, Amelia.
She
And-
steals the show.
Yeah,
everywhere
she steals
goes.
the show, and I'm hoping to find her something really nice here for her first birthday.
That's better.
There might be a car.
Yeah, so
Or
there might
two.
be a car with her name on it. I don't know. If you see any cars that say Amelia, let me know. But she loves diecast. I've got a box of them at home. She just peels them out and plays with them in the cards because they're a little bit too small for her, being 1 year old. But yeah, she loves cars and she loves bright things. So
That's a good point, Mark. And I think one of the coolest things about being an adult collector and a father is being able to share your passion with your kids. My son Chet is 2 now, and he's already showing interest in the cars. Again, you gotta be careful because his age is 3 and up, but
yeah,
he's admiring them in a safe and supervised way. David's son is also admiring them in a safe and supervised way, but he's a little older than 2.
David
Yeah.
can't be trusted with cars either. It's just, it doesn't really matter sometimes with age. It's, if you put the cars in your mouth, you may have a wheel pop off or something. So just be careful.
It is
no matter
what
what
it
age you are.
It is what it. You just got to own it. I think we collect to our comfort level.
But I think that's what David's got to keep cars in the card so that they're safe to chew on and stuff like that.
I don't know if you guys can hear a little bit of background noise. They've got a Plinko game going on. This convention, guys, you can't be bored here. There's always something going
There's
on.
like too much to do. Like you can't. There's so much going on that you're not going to have time to check out all of it. To check the schedule out. It's behind us, and you're going to have to go through and pick and choose what you want to go through because there's a lot to check out here, and
Absolutely.
There's only so much time.
We'll be back with more Diecast Breakdown after this word from our sponsors. Legendary Hollywood concept artist and designer Fireball Tim Lawrence has created 3 exclusive pieces of automotive art based on the 3 hosts of Diecast Breakdown. Get these and other brilliant designs printed on mugs and more at fireballtimgarage.art today.
Cast Heads magazine is a digital publication dedicated to enhancing the lives of collectors all across the world by providing information on new models, reviews on brands and diecast accessories like figures and dioramas, throwing light on customizers, photographers and people who contribute to making the diecast world vibrant. Subscribe to Cast Heads for free and look for collaborations with Diecast Media Network at castheadsmagazine.com.
And now back to Diecast Breakdown.
All right, let's talk to Chuck now, Mark. First impression, 24 hours in.
First,
Is
time
it worth the hassle of getting here? And
with the
what are your
milkshake.
expectations for the next 3 days?
Well, my expectations are high because I know that these folks put on a killer show. I've lived vicariously through my co-hosts going to this show in the past. I'm thrilled. I've had 2 false starts getting here, and we're finally here. We're finally all together.
Well, we're glad to have you, Chuck.
It's an incredible gathering. I'm loving the scope and the epicness of this. The hotel is beautiful. It's very well decorated. We've got all these famous faces around us from the car scene, big cars, small car, you name it. And it's really cool and humbling to look around and see so many of these people have already been guests on our show.
Yeah.
And, we'll be seeing some of those familiar faces again. And
Yeah, you guys already know a lot of the people that are pretty big names here because of the show. And that's pretty cool to be able to say.
Yeah, and a special shout out what we're thinking about to the new folks who have found their way to our channel because you've heard about us for the first time here. That's okay. That's pretty normal. We have a small but very dedicated fan base, and for those who don't know, Diecast Breakdown is a podcast where we talk about the people doing amazing things, fake things with tiny cars, as we say. It's kind of an oral history, kind of a news program where we sit down and talk to the people that make the stories behind the cars that we love. And we started doing this just over 3 years ago, and we got a little over 100 episodes under our belt, and it's been incredible the response we've had from people being willing to show up on the show. I was just chatting with our friends over at Diecast Heroes Magazine, who were one of our first
Tony
guests.
and Carmen. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
Tony and Carmen were one of our first guests, and they helped us with getting networked with a bunch of people that really helped us establish some credibility, and it's just kind of gone from there. So we're grateful for them. They've been incredible supporters of the show, giving us free advertising. Another great partner, Cast Heads Magazine. We wish Nigel was here with us today. Has also given us
Maybe
a lot
next
of.
year. Maybe we can talk Nigel into
Good,
coming
yeah.
next year.
It's worth the trip, Nigel. I
Quick
tell
trip
you this.
across the pond.
Across the pond and over the desert. It's definitely worth the trip. And but yeah, I think I want to say it's a once in a lifetime thing, but it really shouldn't be. It
Shouldn't
should be
be.
something that is a multiple time of your life event, because there's always going to be something new. There's always going to be cool people to talk to. And we're loving it over here. It's just been fantastic to really connect with people and, see more of the people that make the stuff that we love and collect, and get these special insider looks that you're not going to get anywhere else, and get to see things up close and personal. We had the privilege of being here a day early before the official kickoff, and we got the coolest bus tour I think I've ever had in my life. So, Mark, starting with you, talk a little bit about how that started, and
Well, so we got a special tour. We went to the Toy Shack in Las Vegas, kind of the downtown area. I really haven't explored too much. The last time we came here, we pretty much just stuck to the convention center, and then we went to dinner and stuff like that. So it was nice to get out and kind of get. Steve was giving us a tour and telling us, that's Elvis's house down the street, and kind of all the cool things. And we got to go to the Toy Shack and hear the story behind that. And a lot of people just, they have dreams of starting something that they never thought they'd do. And, he started that from having toys, and then, or having a sign business. And then he started the Toy Shack. So, because that's, was his major hobby. And then we made our way to, I think, right up the BRE. Right?
yeah,
Yeah,
that guy, and you seem to have a little bit of background.
Yeah. So then we got that was, of course, I'm wearing the shirt, if you guys can see.
There it is.
I had him sign the back of my sweatshirt, and it's probably, I'm never going to wash it. But BRE, so what BRE is a lot of you guys know, big fans of Datsun 510s. BRE, you guys have all seen it. Red, white, and blue, little Datsun 510s. You got Z's and everything too. But the story behind that is so much more than just BRE. It's Brock Racing Enterprises. It's Peter Brock. He's also the designer of the split window Corvette, the Daytona,
The Shelby Daytona.
the Shelby Daytona, and so many more things. He's still at something. I don't know his exact age, but at his age, he's still
So
designing.
getting after it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so he's still designing, still doing the clay models or
Trailer.
3D printing. So he's incorporating the technology into his stuff. But he'll be here Saturday, so we'll be able to maybe get him on here. We're gonna try. And it was just amazing seeing having them welcome all of us into their facility and show us around. We were able to buy some of their stuff. I've been to their website before. I've bought a few things from them, but people really loaded up and took the opportunity to buy some stuff from Peter and have him graciously sign things like they're back, like me. And so we had some Kaido House stuff, and David bought one too, I think. Did you get one?
I didn't get a Kaido house. I already have a Kaido house BRE, so I decided I'd pick up one. I've never been so excited to buy a trailer model in my life, but
Tell us a little bit about the trailer.
So the trailer is called the Aero Vault. It was really cool. I mean, they were talking about how Peter and Gail were talking about how they wanted to buy a trailer to carry their cars around, and Peter got frustrated because, in his words, why doesn't any trailer designer know how to make something aerodynamic? And so he went out and using his old school clay and stuff, built a 1/4 scale version of what would become the Aero Vault's trailer. And it's a very cool, look it up on Google. We, we'll post some pictures of it.
Yeah.
But Greenlight decided to immortalize the Aero Vault in 1/64th scale, and they did a great job on it. And
Yeah, how cool is that? Greenlight, shout out to Greenlight for doing that. And
Right?
bringing
Trailer.
A
Just-
trailer, because, every diecast company has their own thing. But Greenlight does a really good job at bringing us the obscure stuff, like tractors, trailers, all kinds of stuff that you can, put onto your display. And make
Sure.
cool stuff.
Oh, and you know me, I love a good car transport of any kind. And so,
That's
so
just
yeah, I was able to pick one of those up for very reasonable prices. It was only $10. And Peter was more than happy to sign it for me. And he was very
Weren't
kind.
you going to have him sign your face?
I was, but then I decided I probably do need to wash my face.
Yeah,
I
you
like
could always
your
get a
sweater.
tattoo over it, though.
Exactly. Yeah.
Kind of a Mike Tyson thing.
Hey,
Yeah.
and leave a comment if this video gets 5 likes, Chuck will get a face tattoo
Just 5. That's it.
Okay.
5 likes,
Wow.
5
Okay.
comments.
or shave
And
his head.
5
It's kind of your choice, fans. Pick it. Shave Chuck's head. I'm kidding. Part of that.
Is
Part
that
of the
what
whole-
was in that waiver I signed?
That
to
was
get
in
on
the waiver.
stage? Oh, all right.
So
One in
Mark and
Vegas.
Chuck are talking about the VIP tour that Steve at House of Cars were so gracious to allow us to come along. And we got a lot of footage of stuff that most people are not going to get to see. And I'm
No.
really excited of being able to share that in the very near future. We did BRE. Where did we go after that? We went to Atomic Motors. Crazy complex with 5 acres of cars
inside.
under different roofs.
Yeah.
Very nice spread. They fed us.
Walk
Really
around.
cool. Just gave a
Some really-
walking tour of
Yeah.
the facility. Finished it up with a stop at the House of Cars here in Vegas. Had a little goodie bag for all of us. Really nice. Everything, guys. Everything. If you're considering the VIP tour here at Diecast Supercon, everything is top notch. You'll get your money's worth. It's an investment. It's worth it. You're gonna get some really cool stuff and first track at a lot of stuff nobody else is gonna get to see.
Yeah, you're gonna get a tour of the places that you may have never gotten a tour at. Like, for example, BRE. Like,
Yeah.
it's not easy to get a tour
Yeah.
of BRE or to get autographs from Peter Brock. It's kind of a tricky thing. He doesn't. I don't think he travels as much as he used to, and so it was a treat being able to pull up in a big bus and get off and get a run through at that.
I think that's the thing. I think that's the thing with these conventions, guys, is the accessibility to the people that you already follow and you love their work. You love their art. You love their cars that they fabricate, whatever. They're here. The guys that put on the convention, they know all these people and they allow us to get to know them as well. We've got a lot of people lined up for future shows. We got somebody coming up in 5 minutes that you guys, you all know his work already. And if he's here on time, you're going to enjoy getting to hear from Michael Geralda, legendary Matchbox designer. And that's just the start of a lot of incredible
We just
content.
picked up. I think all 3 of us picked up one of his cars.
Yeah. We're all getting Geralda autographs when he gets here. That's a guarantee. That's part of the cool thing about this for me.
Yeah, you
I'm
get
not-
you get to meet these people in person.
Yeah. I'm not going to go and sell this stuff. This is the stuff that will be in my collection forever.
Yeah, no, this is the kind of place you want to buy stuff and not sell it. I mean, granted, sometimes you got to sell things. For the most part, for me, it's gonna be a quality, not
A lot of
quantity thing.
memories.
Yeah, so I'm not gonna buy a ton of stuff here, but I'm gonna look around. I'm not gonna try to break the bank the first couple days. You got to pace yourself.
As a Datsun owner, go a little bit deeper on how cool it was to be at BRE.
BRE was great because I got the pleasure of chatting with Peter Brock and his wife Gail about 6 or 7 or 8 years ago at a Datsun meet down in Oregon, and that was the last one that they ever threw. So it was kind of really special because they stopped putting those events together because it got a little too tough for the crew to do. So I've recently kind of started my own Datsun thing, and I'd like to get him up here, but it's hard to say. We'll try.
Yeah.
But it was just nice seeing him again in person. It'll be nice to see him here Saturday because when you're kind of going through their place, you kind of get your autographs, and kind of keep the line moving. So you don't have a lot of time to chat with Peter or Gail. But it was just really nice to be able to see how they have everything laid out in their facility. And it would be awesome to be able to go back for sure on a time where it's a little less busy.
Tell me somebody that's not as hardcore as you, the amount of automotive history that's in a place like that.
There's a ton of history in a place like BRE, and to go there and to look up on their wall, they have kind of everything in order of years. And And the thing I really like about Peter Brock is that he's really a humble dude, the most humble. And, you know,
we all helped him find his dog last night.
Yeah, we helped him find his Shiba. It got out, kind of got a little overwhelmed with the amount of people that are coming in. But he's a super humble dude, and he gives me a lot of inspiration to go do what I want to do, because there's been so many things the way that he started out is he went to the school of design in California, forget the exact name, but he walked in as a young kid. I don't think he was just maybe at high school, and he said, "I want to go here." And he's like, "Sign me up." And they said, "Well, that's not really how it works.
Yeah.
You have to get approved. You have to work here for 5 years or 10 years or whatever." And he said, "No, I want to go here." And they said, "Well, do you have a portfolio?" And he said, "What's a portfolio?" And they said, "You know, your sketches, your drawings, all that stuff." And so he's like, "Hold on." He went out to his car and he redrew everything. And he just started drawing some of his things from scratch. And then he pretty much just was a pest to him, and snuck in and sat in on one of the classes, and just, they noticed that this kid at the time really wasn't going to be stopped to do what he wanted to do. And to hear those kind of stories a few years ago was amazing, because it just kind of helped you realize like all that this guy has done over the years, and he hasn't taken no for an answer, and nothing can really stop him.
Don't touch that dial. Diecast Breakdown will be right back after these messages. Diecast Breakdown is produced in partnership with Twice Diecast and Driven Dreams Org on YouTube. Check out their channels in the video description and subscribe for more epic Diecast content.
Hey, this is Larry Wood.
This is Derek from Honest Diecast.
Hey, this is Chad Reed from Round 2.
This is Mike from Gaslands.
The SRT Jovita Show.
This is Champion DJ K.
This is Mad Vision here. This is Diecast Dude.
And you're watching Diecast Breakdown.
And now, the thrilling conclusion of this week's episode of Diecast Breakdown.
Well, hey there, folks. Chuck here, and welcome to another special live episode of Diecast Breakdown, where we are unplugged but not something.
Yeah. We're not editing out.
We're not editing out any of this, and we are operating on very little sleep, some of us, but we are thrilled to death to be here at Diecast Supercon live in Las Vegas at the beautiful Ahern Hotel and Convention Center.
Definitely.
The longtime home of Diecast Supercon. I don't know how long it's been the longtime home, but it's been at least 3 years, because that's where you guys went 3 years ago, or 2 years ago?
It was 2 years ago.
2 years ago? Yeah, that's right. This is year number 3 of us trying to get here. But we're all here, and these guys have legs. I hadn't seen their legs before, and it's nice to know that they have those. But we are just getting settled in. We got the streaming stage over there that you're going to be seeing us at tomorrow, but they very kindly let us use this big fancy stage for a little bit.
Please, and if you don't know about the show, we would love to tell you all about it. This is Chuck's passion project. We got Mark here as our third co-host. Mark, introduce yourself.
Mark, Driven Dreams is kind of my passion project, thing that we do on Diecast Breakdown. We promote getting cars to less fortunate kids, sick and less fortunate kids. So this next year, we're trying to raise 25,000 cars for kids across the world. Just food banks, children's hospitals, fire stations, police offices, wherever. Our big thing is just getting cars to kids, and that's my main thing. We, originally had started doing a podcast by myself in my room, lonely. And then it kind of turned into Chuck is the mastermind behind it, because he's got video production skills that I myself and David do not have. And so
did a show or two.
Yeah. But I have enough just to get myself into trouble. But so together we all have, David's the premium guy, collector, Chuck is the master customizer, weathered, and he's into vans and
I'm into all the ugly 70s and 80s Americana cars. Yeah.
And David's the European guy, and PT Cruisers,
The famous European PT Cruisers.
Saturns.
All of them, all the European.
And I'm the JDM guy, which I like. I'm the Datsun 510 guy. So I originally had started a channel called Datsun Man Diecast and did mostly just Datsun stuff on there, but that eventually turned into Driven Dreams, and that's what I'm focusing on now.
Yeah, I want to back up a little bit here because Driven Dreams was a really, really cool idea that it was, what, four years ago now?
Yeah, 4 or 5 years
four years ago. So originally you wanted to raise cars for the Seattle Children's Hospital, correct?
Correct, yeah.
Yeah, and so the original idea was that he would have people ship the cars to his house, and then he was going to take them over and drop them off at the Seattle Children's Hospital. But it turned out going a little too well, if I recall correctly. I think you almost ran out of places to move in your house.
Yeah, pretty much.
You were sleeping outside. You know?
That was the joke. Is I wanted so many people to send me cars. I'd have to sleep out on my porch, and it almost came to that because I think it was 4,700 cars. That were sent to my house in all sizes, different boxes, and people just really like. That's when I knew that there was huge hearts out there in the collector community.
Yeah, that was really cool. People sending you hundreds of cars. I mean, and then to the point that the Seattle Children's Hospital was like, this is too many cars.
Yeah, I ended up about 750 cars is all they could take.
Yeah. So then you came up with this idea that I think is brilliant because, these cars are very cheap, but you get them all together and you go to ship them and it's kind of expensive. It can be almost as expensive to ship a car as it is to, buy them, sometimes more so. So this idea that you came up with, that I absolutely love, is that instead of people shipping the cars to Mark, they would just document giving them to a local charity or local service, local food bank, Salvation Army, Children's Hospital, Women's Shelter, somewhere where kids would go that are in need. And then they document it and they send it to him. And then we just kind of tally it up, like a thermometer thing. And that way, nobody has to worry about shipping cars, and they're helping people in their community too. So people literally all over the world. We had people in Indonesia and Switzerland and England, and Australia and New Zealand sending in their car numbers, and that was really cool. And I think we topped out at the biggest we've done so far is what, 14,000, about thereabouts.
Yeah, somewhere around 13,000, 14,000 or so.
Yeah.
Yes.
And all of this, folks, is in the past was a campaign that we started called the Diecast Day of Giving, where collectors around the world donate extra unopened cars to local places, kids in need. And if you guys would consider joining the Diecast Day of Giving movement, we would appreciate it. In the future, you have extra cars laying around, give them away. Go to drivendreams.org, log your donation. Tell Mark how much, how good it made you feel to donate them, and we would appreciate it. This is a worldwide campaign challenge in our community, which is so giving, and we thank all of y'all for such a high standard of giving that we do.
Amazing. We even had manufacturers chip in and donate cars straight from the factory.
Some of your favorite brands, Tarmac Words, Maisto.
Yep.
Yeah, we got Maisto. We got here, Eddie Castro of Maisto, which is here today.
Yeah.
We'll have him on. But yeah, it's amazing to see. Yeah, Tarmac Works, Maisto, Round 2.
Mm-hmm.
Auto
World, Johnny Lightning.
Yeah, Auto World, Johnny Lightning. Just amazing people there say, hey, I'm doing a giveaway. I need some cars. And how many you need? What do you need? And they just send them, and it's nice to have some things to get people excited about it. Giving and some giveaways and stuff like that. But it's just nice to have the manufacturers back something like that.
Yep. But yeah, so that's something that we've been working on. It's Mark and his wife Kimber have done a great job putting it together. It's an actual registered. Is it 501c3?
Not yet. We haven't got to the point. We try not to collect too many of them or money. So it's mainly, so we haven't made it.
Yeah. I mean, you guys are making absolutely nothing off this. They're doing it just out of the goodness of their heart and their willingness to want to help kids. And, it's a really cool thing because as Mark likes to say, one car,
one smile.
Yep. One car equals one smile because they're, just a really nice, versatile gift. It doesn't require any batteries. Any kid can play with it over age 3, of course. But, you know, boys, girls, doesn't matter. There's a diecast car for everyone. And really just a nice way to brighten people's day. I love hearing these stories about like food banks. Love them because they can see, like, if a family comes with a kid, they can slip one in there. They can see the kid's face light up when they look in the bag and they see a little diecast car. It's a super cool thing. And really honored that Marcus let us help with that. And but yeah, so as we alluded to earlier, by the way, this is David. We haven't introduced David.
Yeah. Oh, and then there's David
from Twice Diecasts, which is one of the coolest acronyms ever. What did that originally stand for, David?
Twice is TWYCE, the worst YouTube channel ever. That used to be my YouTube channel, and finally found a home doing diecast. You know, what if we talked about maybe the highlights of day one? Mark, Chuck,
highlights of day one
of here at the show, and I'm curious if it would ring true with the rest of the collectors here. And there is a lot of collectors here at the show. It's only going to get bigger. But day one, Chuck, I'm going to put you on the spot.
Uh-oh.
What was your favorite bit of news, preview, drop that you heard about?
Well, we've made some new friends recently at this little company you might have heard of called IXO America. They're making a big splash with their new stuff. They were very kind to come on our show early on, before even some of the stuff got announced. And they just unreeled some real bangers of cars, like just really cool, like cars that we grew up with. Really cool take on the Chevy square body, doing a crew cab with long beds and dualies. They've got the bullnose Ford from 80 to 86 that nobody's really done, and certainly in a premium. There's a Matchbox one that they did for Jurassic World, I want to say, that was based on the truck that Chris Pratt's character had. I think it was Chris Pratt's character. Anyway, it's a nice one. I like die casting a lot, but it's not like a true 164, and it's more of a mainline casting. So we'll get a premium 80 to 86 Ford pickup. And some of my favorite cars, they're going to be doing the 3rd gen A bodies from Dodge and Plymouth, Dart Sports, Dusters, and Demons, which is very cool. And doing them up through 1976, which is very cool. Totally my era, 1974 to 1984, kind of my weird little sweet spot of cars. CarTuned is tearing it up. They got some amazing new stuff coming out. They got some transport rigs, some big rig stuff. And we're going to have a guest in a few minutes that's going to come on and talk a bit more about them. Really cool guy that we're honored to know. And he's been on the show before, but we'll get to him in just a second. Let's
Marcus?
see.
highlights. David, there's so many, but there's also so many things I haven't checked out yet.
Well, I'm asking you to name one, sir.
I'm gonna have to go with Chuck on the IXO.
Yeah.
I like that Challenger that came out. I think Clint did a bang up job on it. It's really clean. For my full-time job, I get to play with cars in real life, one-to-one cars, and I've done some real cool Challengers lately, some paint correction stuff on them, and it's kind of like paint restoration and Demons and Challengers. So they're growing on me. They're big cars. Once you pull one into your shop and you have it parked next to my 510 in the shop, it makes you realize how big they are. And so I've started to like Challengers a lot more. So I'm a big fan of that. And, of course, CarTuned, hearing about the haulers.
Yep.
That's exciting news.
Super cool.
And of course the Jada majorette thing, with what they have coming out, those are just clean. It's just a very clean design when it comes down to the car, everything. So I think that's going to be a big success. So I'm excited about that.
I got to say my favorite was the last thing of the day. Totally caught me by surprise. Mr. Tang from Greenlight, the new president of Greenlight, did maybe impromptu presentation where he brought out some of their samples of their new stackable carrying cases for the premium line. And the premium cars look freaking amazing. They look
Incredible.
like $40-$50 die-cast cars. Really excited about those.
Yeah, I'm very curious about the price point on this, honestly.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they look
The
really
packaging, though, looks really cool. Like it's, you buy it and you've got a stackable, something you can put on your shelf.
stackable
Right away.
acrylic cases. Some of them have lights in them. There's the new keyed cases that are your regular clamshell based thing, but instead of having those impossible to open things that you end up like slicing your fingers trying to open, they got these nice little like twist lock things. I love a good twist lock. And not only does the case itself, the clamshell, have a twist lock, but the acrylic cases, the cars are secured in. So there's a
Greenlight is
lock
leveling up.
Yeah.
They are way leveling up. Maybe 2 or 3 levels up.
Yeah. And just incredibly refined details, very thin roofs, very thin A-pillars, very, a lot of people don't think about this, but when you're getting down to 1/64 scale, like especially on an older car where you don't have like the airbags and the A-pillars, they got pretty narrow. And, you get down to where it can be so narrow, and that metal, the die-casts metals that are used are very soft. They're very easy to bend and twist and warp. As any customizer who's really drilled into one of those will tell you.
So you step on one. And
exactly. And you get, how many Hot Wheels cars have you seen with smashed roofs because somebody stepped on them? That doesn't take much to bend them. And these things were incredibly delicate. And to be able to be that delicate and that strong to survive the manufacturing process where, they're going through these big machines that are stamping rivets into them and stuff like that's just incredible. So, very excited to see where that goes. A very amusing offering with these radio controlled tanks. I love them. I love that they're true 1/64 scale. It's very rare you find a die-cast or a remote controlled anything in true 1/64 scale. And that's really cool. So excited to see where he takes the Greenlight line, and of course the lines that we know and love are still going to be existing. They're going to continue to make the
main line and a premium line.
A main line and a premium line. So that was a very cool thing. He was very generous with his time and answered questions. But it's been a lot of Hot Wheels here for the first time. We're grateful for them there. Brendan came out and introduced some new cars for the RLC Club that are very exciting. Had some samples here. I'm really excited about that Mercedes 4-door that they've got coming out. All 4 doors open, and it looks natural, looks really good. So, they're stepping up their game as well, but while still maintaining that iconic Hot Wheels look that we all know and love. So,
And what's tonight, guys? Where are we headed after this?
CarTuned
MGA party.
And speaking of CarTuned, we've got a fellow CarTuned friend that's going to be joining us here whenever he's ready.
Mr. Hayden,
Yeah,
hop
Mr.
on
Hayden.
up here.
So,
This is, if you guys haven't seen on Instagram or other social media, and we're going to let Hayden tell you all the places you can find his stuff. This is the guy.
Hey, man. Thanks for coming, Hayden.
For CarTuned. Hey, you have to sign in first, sir. You have to sign in.
Sign the
sign the shirt.
Is there a marker for him?
Yeah, David.
David.
Was you supposed to sign it with a
Look,
visible pen?
this is the level of attention and detail you get with IXO Media Network.
There you go.
Got you covered, Hayden. Anywhere on the shirt is fine. Hayden is the premier CarTuned customizer.
Well, he wasn't just CarTuned.
Accessory.
I mean, I found Hayden a while ago. Thanks, man.
Hayden, have a seat. Turn on your mic.
Yep.
That's all.
First, Hayden.
Check.
There you go. Welcome again to Diecast Breakdown. Good to have you back.
Thank you.
Let's start a little with the beginning for people who haven't seen your episode, which is probably most of these people. Where did you kind of fall into the world of diecast, and when did you decide to start really diving into the custom supply thing like you have?
I would say probably about 2018. I was fresh out of high school, didn't have a job, and my dad took me to a swap meet, and they were all doing these types of customs. I met a couple people and really just fell in love with these people, completely changing the way they looked. And people were like, oh, I wish I could do this, wish I could do that. And it kind of just came into well, I think I could. And so I started customizing it. And then people were like, well, I also want that. And so now I started making extras, and then I started making more money like that. Need more wheels. That got too costly, so I found a way to get them in bulk, and then started reselling them there. And then slowly, I actually started to stop customizing myself and just supplying people. And that's kind of where we're at today.
You kind of ran out of time. You just started getting higher production and
Pretty much, exactly, yeah.
Yeah. And you do a lot of like, because you're not just supplying custom parts, like you get like wheels, like really nice Real Rider style wheels. You've got decals, you've got and you're doing white toner print decals too, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Tell us your shop. Where do we find all this cool stuff?
I have a website, HHW Customs.com. I have all the stuff there, all the wheels, decals, 3D parts, and I try to come up with something new every week. My newest thing was drop in interiors, engines, and chassis all in one piece. So it's a solid thing. It swap right in, drops your car pretty much to the ground, and it has all the detail in there. All you have to do is paint it. That's the easiest.
Yeah.
so you just got to like hit it with a couple screws, put it in there. It's that simple.
Essentially, yeah.
Talk about how nice that is when a manufacturer and a major manufacturer has a customizer in mind. And I go back to, when did we hear CarTuned say, it was today, that they mentioned that they are intentional in designing it with customizers in mind? And talk about that from the flip side from you.
It's great. I'll tell you, it's great because the chassis are all the same. So they all just have the same 2 screw points. And it just makes my life so much easier compared to, I'm going to say, some other brands where it's, well, one car's longer, one car's shorter, one car's wider. You can't really use parts from either or. You have to start fresh. So with CarTuned, it's a lot easier to say, hey, okay, well, I want this. Okay, so this is the general size of this. And this is my starting point. You have a great starting point with something like that, to kind of just focus on the more attention to detail rather than, well, I need this thing to fit. So I got to do that first, and then something else, and then something else to get the final product.
And have you had conversations with the folks at CarTuned in terms of like, I don't know, just, are they excited about seeing what you're doing, or they support it? And
I have, yeah. They seem positive that I'm doing what I'm doing, and
that's awesome.
It gives more reason for people who have no experience customizing to start customizing. They see a car and they're like, oh, I think I could do this, do that, and hey, oh, he has it available. Let me go grab that, put it in, and it's just a real easy process.
Yeah, they don't have to drill their hand like most of us have.
Oh, yeah, I got my
yeah, everybody's got everybody's got a
It's a
story.
rite of passage with a diecast customizer. You got to do it at least once.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about like what you have some future plans. I know you saw like the transporters coming out. Do you have something lined up for that already?
Is it already spinning in your head?
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely have a lot of ideas and different things I want to do. The Vandura is one of the ones I'm really excited to do. Just like the little bubble windows in the rear, and then maybe I don't know, stuff on top, roof racks. I will maybe cut the windows on the side, do interior a little bit, stuff like that. Just got to really just look at it and what can I do with this? And sure.
Did I see like you had like a little 3D printed piece? Was there like a air conditioner that sits outside the window?
Yep, that is me.
That was super cool.
Yeah, those Thermador car cooler.
Yeah, those are like hardcore, like they just route the air back in the car.
Yeah, that was actually one of the first things I did. I actually met Lewis at the Pasadena show, and he was handing out cars, and he gave me one, and he was like, "Oh, do something cool with this." Okay, I went home that day, and I drove back from LA to Vegas, and immediately got on my computer and started working on it. I made the swamp coolers, made the Continental kits, I made the antennas, started working on the interior. I was like, I just need to get this thing perfect on my first try. And
and that's we kind of touched on this, but we haven't really dove in. Like what Hayden does that's really cool, it's 3D printed parts. Like he sells wheels, he sells decals, but the 3D printed stuff, and it's all original designs that you did yourself. Did you teach yourself 3D design, or was it? Okay, wow, that's awesome.
YouTube University.
I was gonna say YouTube University. That's fantastic. You can learn just about anything on YouTube. And that's awesome. And they are so cool. bought a lot from you personally, and have used quite a few of your pieces in my customs, and they're fantastic. They're really well done. He's got a 1/64 scale cozy coupe, that little Tykes cozy coupe thing that we all had in the 80s growing up. My son has one. They still make them. That's awesome, and you can get ones a day. Easy. We got one that's like stanced. I love that. That's fantastic. So, great ways like the motorcycles, all these really cool ways to deck out your garage scene. And now you've got your own little storefront scenes. I just picked up one of those. So tell us a little bit about that.
It's a new product. I actually haven't showed it on Instagram or any social media yet, but it's basically a garage diorama storefront kind of thing. Has 5 parking stalls in front, and it's going to fit majority of brands. Right now, I only tested Hot Wheels and CarTuned on them, but they're wide enough to accommodate those, and it has interchangeable fascia. So if you want to say King Taco, you could do it. If you want to say In and Out or 7-Eleven, AM, PM, some of that they're all interchangeable. So you can only need to buy one diorama itself and just buy the replacement fascias for whatever you want to do.
Yeah. It's always got to be customizable, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, too, like the stuff that I really like you pick specifics, not just cartoon, but you've also got like the Hot Wheels, many different options out there.
It really depends on if it's a popular casting or not, if they're selling out too quick. But usually in a week, if it's something like, so when I first dropped the Silverado, I did a lowering frame and I did a interior, just those 2 things. I probably sold 60 in the first week, which was really good. That was the first time I kind of did like a drop, I guess you can call it. And people went crazy for it. And I was very like, oh, I can make a lot more money doing this.
You're almost not ready for it. You're just,
I wasn't.
Put it out there and then you just get all the orders and you're like, oh.
Yeah, I think I had 15 ready. And I was like, I gotta go back to the garage and start working.
So is this your full-time gig now?
Yes, it is.
That's awesome.
All right.
I mean,
support them, folks.
Thank you.
That is a
success story.
It's a service. It is a service to us as collectors, and
you made the incredibly long journey to join us here at Diecast Supercon. He's local.
30 minutes away.
Yeah.
Tell us about your day one.
Hayden,
tell us about day one, the feedback you got from customers that came by your booth, and what you're looking forward to in the coming days.
So far, day one has been great. I've met a ton of people that are on Instagram, and I'm just following, commenting, messaging back and forth, and it's really cool to interact with them one-on-one. Like, I've never met any of you guys before, and now here I am sitting right next to you guys on the podcast. So that's pretty fun. But it's been a good time. It's, been busy talking to people, seeing everything. I love conventions because you get so much just interaction. You don't get that online as much.
Yep.
You see a number, you don't get to see people.
It's not as authentic,
That's the key.
Yes,
no, and Mark said it right there. There's just a whole different level of relationship, and these are real friendships and real partnerships that happen here. So for our hobby, this is kind of like the Super Bowl, and that may sound silly to somebody who is outside of it, but it really is. And the number of people that you can meet here, like somebody like you can grow your brand like so much faster and so much quicker here than you could, years online. Talk about maybe the networking aspect of coming to a convention like this.
The networking is great. I've definitely met a lot of people that actually, we further our relationship and started doing different stuff. Last Supercon, I met Larry Wood. I did and then what was it? A couple months later for the October convention in LA.
I mean, yeah, we were just like, hey, we're doing a show. You want to come on and talk to us? And they're like, sure, okay.
I mean, it will be in front of tens of people. The exposure,
well, yeah, that's
priceless.
I've gotten asked a few times now. They're like, how do you get these people to talk to you? And I was like, we ask them, and they say yes. And they're like, well, how did you get started with this? Well, we asked a few people, and they said yes.
All they can do is say no.
Yeah,
and if you have one or two.
No, well, we got started. Our second guest on the show was Tony and Carmen from Diecast Heroes, and they were very big supporters of the project early on. I had been making customs and videos of my customs, and I had submitted some cars to their magazine and gotten my cars featured in some of their magazines. And then when I said we were doing this show, I was like to have them on, and they were very open to it, and they introduced us to some of their friends who introduced us to some of their friends, and it just kind of went from there. And whenever we find someone who's doing something really cool, like Hayden, I found him I think I found you on Instagram, and just you were posting your stuff, and I found it, and it was either Instagram or Google. I was at that point, I was just like obsessing over finding 1/64 scale custom parts, and found your stuff and really liked it. And I was like, hey, I bet this guy has an interesting story, and it's really cool. I mean, you started from a very young age, just getting involved in this, and turned it into a business, and now it's you get to, this is your office now.
Hayden is the exact target of who we want on our show, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like the people that are influencing the hobby, making it better,
growing the hobby,
making it more accessible for future customizers. And, if you can encourage someone to customize, that's really a cool thing to foster creativity. Is that important to you?
I think so. I think it's always fun when people are like, oh, I have this idea, but I don't know how to do it. And I'm like, well, just do this, 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 and this. And it works out. And if it doesn't work out, hey, you made something else that's different. Now try again. Or, it's kind of the thing where you have one idea and you build off of it until you have another idea. And then you're like, oh, well, I have 25 customs on my table. I need to get one of them done.
Yep.
But it's good. It's using your imagination, which, it's always good.
Have you seen like somebody just like from your parts start using them and then just go nuts with everything?
Yes.
Like I'm sure you've seen probably a few. Can you name off anything in particular, like any one in particular that comes to mind that just maybe bought some wheels from you or like a base or like, and then they just like went nuts with it?
I can't say like one specific thing because it's not someone builds like a giant like statue or anything like that. But like my dad's a customizer. He uses my parts. And so I have like mess up prints, mess up things that just don't work out well. So then he'll go and be like, well, I need this. And I kind of have an idea for this. So he'll just like, oh, I think I can use this somewhere, glue it on, cut this in half, and just play around with stuff and get really creative with it.
Makes a transformer out of it.
Yeah, no, right. Yeah, no, he does some really cool stuff. And like CarTuned, they don't have convertibles.
Okay.
He was like, I want to make it convertible. I want the Impala to be cut and cut the roof off. He was the first one to do that. He's like, now I need an interior. So then it was just like, well, okay, well, trial and error. Let me do this, and, I'll figure it out. And it's kind of just all that kind of just like, just do it mentality. And
otherwise it's never going to happen.
Nope.
With the technology that we have nowadays, it's like, we got tiny tracks making the 3D tracks, and it's just crazy what you can do with 3D printers now. So that, and then we went to Peter Brock, and he's doing stuff with, I think, laser or like imagery stuff to scanner.
If you have an idea, you can find a way to make it today.
Yeah.
It's the best.
Well, and like you said, you can learn all this stuff, for free practically. I mean, there's programs like Tinkercad that I've used when I was doing 3D printing that, it's not nearly as complex as Blender, but even Blender's free.
Yeah. Blender's great.
And, but if you want to get started, Tinkercad's a great way to, start with basic shapes, especially with 1/64 scale. And there's things like, you don't use them, but I would use Thingiverse, which is where people give, open sourced STL files to turn into resin prints or FDM prints. And now you're doing stuff where you're doing your FDM printing in color, which is really cool with these buildings. So they already come pre-colored, ready to go. They look fantastic. keep an eye out for those on his website because they're definitely worth picking up. I'm glad I picked up one, and
Thank you for that.
So very excited about taking that home and putting it on display.
Hayden, what we've talked about CarTuned. Are there any other brands that you really target because of their ease in making custom parts?
There's not one brand for ease of making parts, but more of accessibility. That would be Hot Wheels. Hot Wheels is the biggest brand, I think it's safe to say.
Yeah.
And it's everywhere. People already have some. And if not, they can go to the store and go grab more. And that's just kind of, what's the popular casting? Well, okay, well, it's here's hitting the shelf. I'll just go get that. Make parts for that. It's getting ahead of the curve. And just, what are people going to want? Just kind of thinking ahead. But
yeah, well, yeah, you know that they're not going anywhere anytime soon. That's for sure.
No. Yeah,
so it's job security with Hot Wheels, and people can go get them anywhere. Some of the other cars can be a little bit tricky to find for demographic wise, like even CarTuned.
Yeah.
I haven't seen too many in my area. I did see some just down the street at Walgreens.
I just found my first one in Walgreens.
Yeah, was it down the street?
No, it's like half an hour.
Yeah, there's just FYI, there's down the street at Walgreens. There's a handful of them.
Gotta stop after that.
Yeah, so they're go check them out. But yeah, so certain brands are there's a ton of them here, and then maybe not enough here. But that's just goes with time and distributing and stuff like that.
Yes.
But Hot Wheels is of course
already
7-Eleven everywhere, So yeah, so a little bit easier to find.
Speaking of 7-Eleven, has any of you found any of the 7-Eleven Auto Worlds?
Never.
Yeah.
There's some 7-Elevens.
I still don't think they
I don't think they're real.
Yeah, I want to see a picture.
Yeah.
Hayden, I got a question for you. There's always like with creative types, there's always ideas that are in your head that technology is just not quite there yet. Do you have any of those things that you'd love to be the first one to do it, but it's just not quite available yet?
I would say that the only thing, it's not something that can't be done. It's you need a lot of money to do it. I want the detail on my prints to be so clear that I could see the numbers on the speedometers. In my files and some of them, I have them. I made them. Yep. But it's just not there.
Can't print that sharp.
No, at least not, on a desktop kind of setup.
Right.
Maybe something bigger. Yeah. But I would say it's not technologically limited. It's just I haven't figured it out how to do it yet.
Mm-hmm. With that,
I thought he was going to say like hovercraft or something.
Yeah,
cool.
Kind of
my
like,
bad.
I have a solution.
DeLorean or something like that.
I got a solution for you already. LED displays. Remember how Kit Knight Rider had the speedometer with the digital number?
Oh, yeah.
Have you thought about adding any kind of LED components to any of your stuff?
Not from myself with adding the electronics, but what I did a couple years back actually was I made a bed filler for a Silverado. It's for Halloween. I put a bunch of pumpkins in there, and then I had a big jack-o'-lantern on top, had the mouth, and it had a hole that went up. And at the time, I had known a couple people that were doing LED lights. And so if I ran a little way. So if you wanted to, you can go put a light in it and have it. And some people did. There's, I think, 2 or 3 on top of my head that I know did that, and it came out sick.
Yeah, you're like, you do it. Here's the base, you do it.
Yeah, electricity, I can't wrap my head around it. I don't know how to connect a battery sometimes.
Yeah,
very cool.
Well,
so you mentioned earlier you went to LA last year for the Hot Wheels convention. Are you doing multiple shows per year, or was that just kind of a one-time deal last year?
No, I've been doing, or every month I probably do a show.
Oh,
so
wow.
I'll go down from Vegas. I'll go down to LA to the South Pasadena show, sometimes twice a month. I'll go down there. So it's a Saturday and a Sunday show. And if not, then I'm doing something on my website. But usually it's once a month I'll go down, have the February show here, and then I'll go in October. And now I'm trying to go to some different shows out in maybe like Reno or Colorado or Texas, something like that. Just trying to, venture out, see what's out there and get my name out there a little more. But right now it's just once a month is set in stone, and then these 2 shows.
Do you get a lot of requests from people when they find your stuff? Like any really out there requests that you're just like, no, that's okay. I'm not going to do that.
Some guy wanted me to make a He-Man replacement part for something from the 70s. I was like, I don't have the car, and it's gonna be a one-off piece. I don't know how to do. Like,
Did he offer to send you the car?
he had it there in front of me, and I was like, I'm just gonna not waste your time and take it because
Were you like,
it's gonna
I
take
need-
me forever to figure out how to make an exact replica. It was like a wing of one of the cars, something I
Yeah.
can't remember what. But I was like,
it was a pass.
yeah, that was a hard
was a hard
pass for me.
pass.
Yeah, I don't try not to be mean. I try to take stuff, but I'm like, this is not gonna make me
Yeah.
any money.
Yeah.
And it's gonna take too long. That's more important for me.
Well, that's the thing is like if you're gonna put the time in, you might as well make something that you can sell a couple hundred of, you know.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And again, folks, HHWCustoms.com.
HHW Customs.
Yeah. Yeah.
What other places? What other socials?
I'm on Facebook, Instagram. I'm trying to do YouTube I'm trying to tell myself I'm going to do a schedule once a week, but we'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
But yeah, mainly Instagram is where you can contact me.
Yeah. And get on his email list too, because he does sales from time to time, and that's when you really want to clean up.
Oh, yeah. A lot of people waiting for
Great
this
stuff.
stuff.
You know, and you got headlight decals. You got some really cool custom decals, some generics that you can use to decorate any vehicle, some for very specific vehicles. It's really cool.
Decals, decals. Depends on who you talk to.
Depends on which side of the
What
pond you're
part
on.
of the world.
Yeah, mix up thing.
All right. So one of the last questions as we kind of inch toward the finish line here. What are you really looking forward to over the next couple days? Is there any single event that you kind of got targeted when you saw the schedule come out?
I'm really anxious to, I think right after this, go up to the VIP CarTuned release to see the next couple castings that are being released. That's the thing for today. But the rest of it is just interacting with everyone and just networking a bit more, see what else happens after this.
Listen, if we know Lewis, there's going to be a surprise.
Yeah.
It's going to be well done. And it's probably going to be more than he needed to do. Like
Just
he only knows one way to do things, and it is
110%
top shelf, 110%. And I think you picked one of the brands that you really have to bring it every time. If you're going to be associated with CarTuned, Lewis is the kind of guy that like he's going to demand excellence, and apparently you've delivered. And we know the stuff. We love your stuff. And,
Thank you.
And we hope other people will know how good his stuff is, because if Mr. Tanahara is okay with it and signs off on it, you will too. So Hayden, great job so
Thank
far. Really look forward to what you give us in the future.
Yeah. We're grateful
Appreciate
you gave us a little bit of your time to come on and talk more
Thank
about
you for asking. This is great.
Oh, yeah, no, it's great. You know,
Hayden's also a contributor for Driven Dreams, so I'd like to thank you for
Yeah.
that
Oh,
as
yeah,
well,
no
and
problem.
being a
He's a
part.
multi-threat.
Yeah.
I
He's
hear
got
you.
it all. He's excited about helping.
Diecast
and-
Breakdown All-Star.
Yeah. So it's all bases are covered. So
All right.
appreciate
Well,
it.
thank you, Hayden. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, David. And thank you, wherever you are.
Thank you, Chuck.
For, thank you.
Yeah.
The cameras can't see it, but
Yeah.
this room, I mean, there has to be at least 24,000 people in
Yeah,
this
they
room.
are
Just
just
people on top of people
just
out there.
stunned silence at the caliber of production that we're putting on tonight. And we're grateful for each and every one of
That's
them.
what we do.
Grateful for
That's what
you.
we do. We knock socks off, Chuck.
Yes. So, well, hopefully your socks are still firmly intact. But thank you for making it to the end of another special episode of Diecast Breakdown. Wherever you are, make sure you're liking, sharing, subscribing, all that good stuff. And a special shout out, of course, to our patrons that make the show go. If you want to know how you can join their ranks, you can visit at diecastbreakdown.com and check out our merch store. My brother Justin did some really awesome designs. There are some that are show related. There are some that are just diecast and automotive related, and you can find them all there. Follow us on our socials. And of course, visit drivendreams.org. There's a link to that at diecastbreakdown.com as well. And as always, we want to thank you for coming along with us for the ride. So until next time, stay fresh, cheese bags.
Thanks for listening to Diecast Breakdown. If you enjoyed today's show, please rate us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts and tell a friend to listen in. Find Diecast Breakdown on your favorite social media platforms or visit diecastmedianetwork.com to learn more about this and our other projects. Diecast Breakdown is a presentation of Flying Valiant and the Diecast Media Network.